Okay, let's try a thought experiment. It's a bit wild. Forget aliens, forget a zombie apocalypse. What if, just for 24 hours, every single human on Earth just, poof, vanished?
Yeah, no warning, no goodbyes. 1 second we're all here, and the next, the planet's on its own. So, what does happen to this world we've built when there's suddenly no one left at the controls?
And we're talking about a staggering number here. 8 billion people. Every one of us plays some tiny part in this huge interconnected machine. I mean, think about it. From the person who made your coffee this morning to the engineer keeping the power grid from collapsing. When every single one of those jobs is suddenly empty, well, the consequences are going to be immediate and they're going to be dramatic.
You might think the first moments would be silent, right? But nope, it's the exact opposite. It's loud, like incredibly loud. And that's because the very first thing to go haywire is the system we're all so familiar with, transportation.
I mean, try to even picture this. 1.5 billion cars suddenly without a driver. They're basically just unguided missiles at that point, right? Coasting into intersections, veering off bridges. It's just a global symphony of chaos. The first sound filling those empty cities wouldn't be silence. It would be the screech of tires and the crunch of metal, over and over again.
And hey, as bad as the chaos on the ground is, it's nothing compared to what's happening up in the sky. You've got almost 10,000 planes in the air at any given moment. Now they're ghost ships, flying on autopilot. For a couple of hours, everything looks fine from the ground. But then, their fuel tanks start to run dry. And they begin this silent, inevitable fall from the sky, one by one, all across the planet.
So, after those first few hours of just absolute mayhem, the crashes, the alarms, a really strange new reality starts to set in. The noise, the chaos, it all starts to fade. And what's left is this eerie, spreading silence as the world just keeps on spinning, completely unattended. And in this new silence, you see this incredible contrast. On one hand, you've got nearly 2 billion pets trapped inside our homes, totally confused and alone. But on the outside, something pretty remarkable happens. For what's probably the first time in centuries, that constant hum of human life, the traffic, the construction, the factories, it just stops. For wildlife, this is a kind of quiet they have never, ever experienced. But underneath all that quiet, our invisible infrastructure is starting to come apart at the seams. Factories that are meant to run 24/7 just grind to a halt. And even more dangerous, chemical plants. These places need constant human supervision. Without anyone at the controls, cooling systems start to fail, and the risk of overheating, well, let's just say the potential for some really bad chemical reactions goes up with every single hour that passes.
Okay, so as we're getting close to that 24-hour mark, the biggest system of all, the most critical one, begins its own silent collapse. This isn't going to be some big explosion. It's more like a flicker, as the lights, one by one, start to go out all over the world.
Now, there's some good news here. Let's start with that. The world's nuclear power plants, right? They make up about 10% of our power. They are designed with unbelievable safety features. So without us there, they just automatically start a safe shutdown. The reactors would be contained. Phew, no meltdowns.
But the other 90% of our power grid, that's a whole different story. It's basically one giant domino effect just waiting to tip over. So first, the power plants that run on coal and gas, they run out of fuel. Simple as that. Production just plummets. Now, the grid needs a perfect balance between the power being made and the power being used. When that goes haywire, it gets super unstable. So to stop the whole thing from literally blowing up, the automated safety systems kick in and do the only thing they can. They just start shutting it all down, piece by piece.
So what about the last lights? The backup generators at hospitals, data centers, places like that. Well, they've been running this whole time, but their fuel tanks aren't infinite. And right around the time our 24 hours are up, those last little pockets of light are about to go out for good.
And then, poof, just like that, we're back. We reappear, and the world we find ourselves in is, well, it's a mess. It's chaotic, it's dark, it's damaged. But here's the kicker. It's not destroyed. Not completely.
The cleanup is going to be absolutely monumental. I mean, the cost of all the accidents, the lost production, just getting the infrastructure back online, we're talking trillions of dollars, easy. But here's the really surprising part. The core stuff, the power grid, the internet, the water supply, it's mostly okay. Those automated safety systems we talked about, they actually worked. They shut everything down to protect themselves. Now they're just waiting for us to flip the switch back on.
And I think that's the real takeaway here, isn't it? We've built this world with some incredible fail-safes, systems that can handle a really short, sharp shock. So in one way, it's amazingly resilient. But at the exact same time, it's so fragile. It is completely dependent on us being there every minute of every day just to keep the lights on.
So yeah, our world held on for 24 hours. It survived, but just barely. It was right on the brink. And it leaves you with a pretty chilling question, right? We built this amazing automated world that managed to hang on for a day. But what if we were gone for a week, or a month, or even a year? How long before the whole beautiful, complicated thing just completely falls apart?